Welcome back to the Tomb 45 YouTube channel, guys, and today what I'm going to bring you is a tutorial, a nice little maintenance cut on my client Ruben here. And what we're going to focus on today is if you're someone who struggles with efficiency. This is the same cutting system I use for every single one of my clients, no matter the texture, no matter the style. So we're going to go in and give my client here a nice solid mid fade, something to complement his brush back hairstyle. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get right into it. We're going to be using the Black FX1 set from Babyliss today. So to start any kind of haircut that's going to have scissor length on top, if you're gonna cut the hair wet, then just make sure that you commit to that. You don't want to cut hair with half saturation, just because then you're gonna have some spots that are wet, some spots that are not, and it's just not gonna give you a consistent result. So start off with a thorough saturation of the hair, comb all the hair into place, and then we'll get into the cutting system. We'll go ahead and comb all this into place. All right, guys, so when it comes to cutting the top of the hair, really what we're looking at is you want to pay attention to the growth patterns, right? So when I comb his hair back, you can already see that some of this hair is naturally springing downwards, right? So let's go ahead and follow the natural growth pattern. Like you can literally see here, the hairs right along his hairline, they're naturally shooting down forward, right? So we're gonna follow that natural split right there on the side. The growth pattern in the back that we want to connect to is always going to be the crown. You can see here how the hair is spiraling outward there from the crown. So we'll go ahead and put our tooth right there and hook that around. Let's go ahead and make sure that the crown is now connected to this. And now we're going to continue with the same thing. I'm going to lift the hair up here. I'm going to try to analyze and find where his hair growth pattern splits. So now let's go ahead and section away the top piece, and I'm going to connect this now to the crown in the back. Right there. It takes a little bit of time setting it up in the beginning of the haircut like this, but with the ease of mind that it's going to give you later on in the haircut, it's totally worth it. So we'll just make sure that we keep this top part here sectioned away from the rest of the hair. Now, keep in mind, every human head is not a perfectly round dome, so that's why it could really look like these are imperfect, uneven sections. But if anything, what we're doing is we are using the naturally uneven growth patterns of our heads to be able to create the style. We're gonna base the whole haircut totally dependent on how his hair grows. So to be able to start this haircut, we're gonna go ahead and pinch the hair right here. Pretty much this is where I'm gonna want my fade to end. I'm gonna start at the transition point where I want the hair to go from darker to lighter. So let's go ahead and take our trimmers here. Now, as we said, this is gonna be a skin tight fade, right? So my fingers are gonna be nice and tight here. This is just to make sure that all the hair remains in place, no matter how long or how short the hair is. You can see here, we're not really removing a lot, but we're gonna continue doing this just for maintenance sake to make sure that we have a good foundation to do this haircut with here. And we're gonna take this all the way around. Notice I'm dipping a little bit lower because it's, like I said, it's gonna be a medium fade. We're not gonna fade tight all the way up to the crown in the back. We're gonna want a nice haircut to complement his natural growth patterns. Now, same thing here. Let's go ahead and make sure that we continue to bring the sides down to the transitionary area where we want the fade to go from lighter to darker. So that point right there is the foundation for the sides. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the top down and we're gonna work that into the sides so that way we can make sure the top also complements the foundation that we just set. So again, I'll come back in here, let's resaturate the top. Now we're gonna go through one more split here, okay? So we're gonna raise the hair upwards. Where in the front does this hair naturally split? I can see some hairs going here this way. I can see some of these hairs going this way. So I'm gonna, again, keep in mind where the crown is that we started at, but I'm now gonna connect the crown in the back to the natural split in the very front. I'm gonna connect that front split to the back split, AKA the crown. Yes, this is a uneven parting, but again, people's hair don't grow in a perfectly even pattern. So the bangs are gonna need a little bit more length, right? So I'm gonna take this section here of the bangs, I'm gonna leave it elevated up off the head, I'm gonna give it a light trim. Now remember, I'm gonna need some elevation on the bangs because he's gonna need space to be able to pull this hair back and brush it in a backward style. But he no longer needs that extra length as we get farther into the back. The rest of his hair is gonna wanna blend into that fade on the side that we're gonna do. So we're gonna bring it down to where it evenly matches to that foundation we set. And we're gonna do the same over here. Let's go ahead and pull this, give it the trim that we need with it being elevated, and we are gonna slope this in tighter and tighter until it blends completely with the foundation that we set. This is the last step that we're gonna have to do now, once you take this all the way around, before we bring it all to the middle and connect it so that way we can establish the final length. Now the last thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring both sides up from the left side and from the right side. And when I bring this hair directly up, you already remember I cut some on the left and I cut some on the right. So what's that gonna leave? That's gonna leave this section here. I see a short point here and a short point here, and I'm gonna connect it right down the middle. And I'm gonna pick up just a few rows of hair at a time. You can see short point, but I also can see the short hairs from the previous section. So I'm gonna continue bringing this all the way back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a foolproof way on how to cut the top of the hair. Now this hair cutting system is inspired by the Josh OP DFS Formula. I would definitely recommend that you guys all go and take that course. This is just my interpretation of, from what I've learned from the courses. And that's the cool thing about it, right? You learn the foundation, you learn the formula, and you learn how to adapt it to your cutting style. So I would definitely encourage all of you to take that, because it definitely removed the guesswork from all my scissor work. But guys, look at that. We're pretty much coming to the end of the scissor work. And the reason that we want to do the top first now, imagine if I were to give them a fade and then trim the top. And then at the end, they're just not flowing together. Now I have to go back and forth to try to make the two blend well together. But if I could start with the top, I know exactly what I'm gonna fade into, and now we're gonna get into that section. So now we're gonna get into the fading steps. And you guys have seen in my other videos, I like to start my clipper all the way closed. That's how I like to start my bald fades. You definitely can put the line in with the trimmer if you want to, but that can definitely cause a lot of problems down the road if you punch that line in too hard. Because remember, this is a machine made for fading. A trimmer is a machine that's made for edging. So I never recommend starting off your bald lines with a trimmer. Just something that can help me down the road. Now I'm also gonna wanna have a nice area that I could transition from bald to the half, right? So I'm gonna open up my lever and I'm gonna give myself more than enough space here. I like this section to be an inch, or maybe an inch and a quarter if I can. This is where the spread of the fade is gonna need to be. If I were to compress this part of the haircut, this is where it looks like a bowl when they're leaving, and we definitely don't want that. This client gets a haircut on the regular, so this step actually may not be necessary, but just in case, I like to take the number 4, or if you have a client that does have longer length hair, you're definitely gonna wanna do this step. Take the number 4 guard, and with full pressure at the bottom and elevating as you work your way up, we can debulk just to make sure that we didn't miss any hairs. Now we're gonna continue fading our way down. So I've got the 1.5 guard here with the lever all the way open, and again with the same method, right? Full pressure at the bottom and elevating as I elevate through the fade. Full pressure at the bottom, soften it up as I go up. This is just gonna help you skip past using guards like the 2 close, the 2 open, the 3 close, the 3 open. If you can feather your way through all those lengths using this 1.5 guard with the lever open, that's a huge efficiency tip that can save you a lot of time in a haircut. And remember, it's not that you're compromising quality, you're just learning a more efficient way to get the same clean job done. Now we can close that 1.5 guard. We're doing a similar motion to as how we just were doing. I'm just not going as high, because now the 1.5 guard closed, this can start to lighten up that area that we did here, that line we created with the half. So now we are done with the 4. We did the 1.5, remember, with that floating. And by the way, if you weren't comfortable doing that freehand motion with the 1.5 guard, you can use your 3 and then your 2, but just keep in mind that your goal at the end of the day would be efficiency. But now that we're done with the 1.5, we're gonna go and do the same motion again here with the 1, and every time that we move lower and lower, we're gonna incrementally be working our way lower in the fade. To the naked eye, it really may look like I'm going over the same spots over and over again, but that's what it should look like. Look, now I'm here with the 1 guard with the lever halfway closed. You can see we're almost there. It's almost faded. Now we're gonna close this lever here. Once I get to lower lengths like this, like the 1 guard closed, even start playing with the half guard, you'll notice I start to use the last couple teeth on the clipper. I'm no longer fully flat. I kind of elevate the clipper just a little bit, so that way it takes less and less hair off, because the shorter that we go, the more dangerous that it gets, right? So just be mindful and just use a few teeth at a time now that you're at a nice short, tight length, like this 1 closed. And what we're gonna do next with the half guard with the lever open. Right now, again, we're gonna continue fading down using the last couple teeth of this clipper blade. Just take your time, guys, take your time. Efficiency is important, but nothing comes before client satisfaction. And nobody is gonna make any crazy comments like, oh, your barber left a line in your fade. Don't let any of that happen. So do everything you need to here with this half guard open. Something too, guys, whenever you get to really short, tight lengths like this, it can be helpful to use a bristle brush instead of a comb, because sometimes it could pick up a little more hair than what the comb will. So look, we're working our way all the way down here, down to the half guard closed. Cool, so we pretty much did most of the work that we need to with the guard. So now we're just gonna go ahead and start fading out this very bottom line, okay? So remember, we started that bottom line with the clipper all the way closed. Now, we could go straight to notch number 1, but what if we use that little area right in between? You may remember that from the last video that we dropped together on the Tomb 45 channel. So let's go ahead and go right there at the half notch, barely breaking through that line all the way across. All right, now we're at the notch number 1, and we're just gonna continue doing this whole thing. And look, we're gonna keep on working our way up, guys. Now we're at notch number 3.
Oh, that smells great, Dave.
And I think we're almost there. We got one more notch to go. We got 2 more notches to go. So look, here we're at the second to last notch. Let's keep on pushing through. The way that I like to describe this process, guys, is just breaking through the line. Break through the line, and now we're all the way open. And after this, it's just going to be a matter of catching little spots that were missed, or maybe using the blending shears in certain areas. But look, guys, we're almost done with this whole process, guys. So now that most of the clipper work is done, guys, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking at. I see a couple spots throughout that do need to be addressed a little bit, right? So I'm going to use these blending shears back to the comb, and I'm just going to comb here through those darker areas that needs to be hit, right? And we could do just a few snips here with these blending shears on our way up. If you notice all of these, guys, like whether I'm cutting with a 4 guard, with a 1.5 guard, or even scissor over comb, I'll start with full pressure at the very bottom, and I release that pressure the higher that I get in the fade. So just, those consistent motions, I feel like, help you get consistent results in these cuts. All right, guys, look, so as far as beard maintenance, if he's happy with the length of the beard right now, I'm just gonna wanna make sure that the sides are laid down smooth and ready for a nice fade into the sideburn. So a safe way to do this is gonna be with the 1.5 guard open, for example, and then just go down with the grain, right? Use the shape of the face like a slope, like a ramp, that you can just ride off of it with the clipper. So look, 1.5 open, now 1.5 close. Bit real simple, guys. Now look, flip that over. And we're gonna do this again. 1.5 guard open, just with light pressure. We're not really digging in too much. And 1.5 close. So now at that point, the bulk is gone. Now we just gotta get working into this tighter fade on the sideburn. If you're not comfortable with freehanding yet, you can use your 1, you can use your half, but I'm just gonna jump straight into no clipper. Now, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna show you guys here on this camera angle, that instead of cutting straight in here like this, if I can elevate that clipper like this, right? If I can do this motion here, you'd be surprised how long you could leave the hair with the clipper blade actually being elevated like this. And after you take care of that, then little by little, you can go flattening it. Now we're all the way flat, and now we can do some lever play. Let's go down halfway. Now we can go down 1 more notch, and we can go 1 more notch. And then you can see, guys, with that process, we were able to smoothly blend from a 1.5 down to bald with only using really no blending guards at all, right? Just using the angles of the blades. I'll go in with my trimmer, and I can just gently erase the bulk that was left at the very bottom. It'll blend perfectly into the fade that we started with the clipper all the way closed. And if you guys notice too, we didn't have to create any very exaggerated shapes when we were fading in order for him to have a defined C-cup here, right? Like, just a proper blend job and some well-set trimmers should be able to allow you to define that corner. I didn't necessarily have to turn all my guidelines really exaggeratedly down. I kind of just relied on a smooth fading system, and I'm really happy with how that edge came out with that corner darkness. The sides I'm gonna do just with the blade. The mustache area, that can be easily irritated on a lot of different clients, so I'm gonna hit this with the trimmer first. The sides we're gonna go in and do with purely the shave gel and the razor. It's gonna give me a little bit better control over the shape, I feel like. I really don't like doing the sides, the side curve here with the trimmers at all. I prefer just to go in with the blade. So now we're gonna use a combination of the Tomb 45 shave gel and the Tomb 45 triple cartridge razor with the medium cartridge to go ahead and create the shape that we want here for the beard. So I'm gonna go ahead and come in here with a few drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll go ahead and rub that into the area that I'm gonna be gliding over with the blade. Now the mission with this beard is we're not gonna leave that gap. We actually wanna line it up to make it look like that gap doesn't exist. And since it's already been moisturized with the shave gel, I can just go in here and make my first incision there. I'll pull a little tighter. The tighter that you pull the skin, the nicer of a curve you're gonna be able to get. So since that line's already been put in there, now we can just come behind that with this razor and just clean up the rest of the hair. Join us in the free Tomb 45 community on the School platform, where we can bring you incredible levels of value to get your haircuts better and help you make more money. This is gonna help us stay connected with you and help you guys through your journey as you grow in this beautiful industry. What we're working on for you guys is adding a bunch of free haircut tutorials to help your skills get sharper. We have a whole section dedicated to motivational content from your favorite speakers in the industry. You're gonna get a free tracking sheet that's exclusive to our group that's gonna help you be able to track your income and other important metrics about your business. We also put together a course that's gonna help you become more efficient in the barbershop, not to mention a free mini course that's gonna help you gain 200 clients in 30 days. Our strategies are proven and we're here to help you guys grow. So I'll see you guys in the school community. And if you need further help, more tailored help to grow your business, we can also help you in the Six-Figure Barber Mentorship to help you grow your income beyond 6 figures and learn how to scale from there. So we're gonna go ahead and go through the same steps right here. Remember, we're doing clipper close. And we're here with the clipper open. Again, like I said, if you wanna fade this out now or if you wanna fade it out later, totally up to you, whatever you're most comfortable with. That's gotta be one of the non-mentorship guys.
Said boss was gonna be there. I just took it. I was looking at the hair. Black and white over like an arm.
Not that camera. Now we're gonna be using the Tomb 45 Indestructible Clay. Now it doesn't take a lot for this product to be really effective. Honestly, just enough to cover your fingertip. But the key for this product is that you're gonna wanna emulsify it. So the key is just make sure that you take that about tip of your finger size product and just rub it in between your hands until you feel like it's getting warm enough. And then I like to go ahead and kind of do this. I like to be able to work the product first into the roots as much as possible. The only way that this product is gonna be able to give you the volume that you need is if you apply it at the roots, not necessarily just keeping the product on the tips of the hair. You can put some on the tips of the hair just to be able to control flyaways and whatnot, but if you want the product to give you its full potential, volume and control and flexibility, start at the roots and then work the product up. So again, thank you guys for tuning into the Tomb 45 YouTube channel. We're gonna take a look at some finishing shots here now that we're done with the haircut. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys, and make sure to join the free Tomb 45 school program, and I'll see you guys in there with more tutorials.